medically understood.
And we're in. I have absolutely no idea if we are actually live or not.
We are.
Excellent. You're so loud. Have you finished
Sorry.
chewing your granola bar?
It wasn't a granola bar, it was a grenade bar.
What's the difference? What is it? It's
A
explosive.
grenade bar is just protein and dirt, I think, mostly.
So you're
It's
still
protein and that's it. And
you're
it
still on
tastes
your
like,
epic health journey, which you don't
I
need
am.
to. You don't need to be because you've managed to trick a woman into marrying you. So like you can just give up on all that stuff now. Uh, um,
Uh, well, yeah, you'd think so.
well,
You would think
today's
so. Sorry, just before we talk about today's, I
yeah.
just want to congratulate myself and give myself a pat on the back. £7 since we had Matt on.
Bloody hell, that's a
And I
lot of
keep
money.
sending him full frontal nude pictures.
Yeah, he does like
Of
to see the
myself.
nudes.
Yeah, it's
Um,
weird.
well, one of the reasons that you're getting in shape is because you're getting married. I've forsaken women and men alike. I've decided that I'm going to live alone in a cave, possibly later in life.
Yeah,
Can't
that's
be
your
bothered.
choice.
Can't be arsed with it. Who can be? I can't. You explain it to me. Like, what is the point in trying to get along with another person in the same living space and all of that nonsense? Like
Yeah.
shared bathroom. Like, what is that? I don't get it anymore. I tried it in my earlier incarnations, the different versions of Ben that I've been throughout my life, and I've had long-term relationships. But today we're going to be talking about dating in current year,
Yeah.
the 2020s. It's
Yeah.
very different to what it used to be like, isn't
I
it?
know. It is. A lot of the stuff we did,
Would be illegal
well,
now.
yeah,
Yeah.
quite rightly, it would be illegal. And as a dad to three girls, I'm sort of happy about that because I don't think I ever got up to anything that naughty. But I certainly saw some of it, and
Well, I saw you
yeah,
getting up to naughty things, so I don't know what you're talking about. You just don't remember. That's the problem. Uh, um,
yeah,
I mean, to go with the theme of modern dating and to help us appear less middle-aged, I've decided to use the format of the meme to guide us through this chat about dating in 2024. So here's the first one. I don't know if you've seen it come up yet, but there's a little doggy there.
yeah.
When you're single and try to include your dog into your delusions that they are human, and the dog there saying, "Please find a date soon." This is something that happens to a lot of single men. I don't know if it happens to. Oh no, it does happen to women. A lot of single men will get themselves a dog as a companion. I know that you did, and
Yeah.
ladies tend to get cats, but I feel like actually maybe there is a bit of a gender difference there because I feel like women get judged more. You get like cat lady is an insult, right? It's a derogatory
Yeah.
term. But if you're a guy with a dog, like there's not a problem with that, is there? Nobody cares. Like, all right, yeah, of
Well,
course you got a dog.
I want to point out that I had Big Nige before I was single.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that's
I got Big Nige because kids wasn't happening, and then of course as soon as I got Big Nige, my partner at the time got pregnant. So that was a fucking disaster, and I wish Big Nige hadn't have entered my life as well as a child. But you know the cat lady thing.
yeah.
Are you aware that that is a medical condition?
No,
So
how?
cats, like in their poop, have like this neurotoxin
Right.
that if it gets into a human brain, it makes them want more cats.
What? But is
It's a true thing. It's like
but
this
does that affect
crazy.
women more than men or something?
I don't know. I guess maybe because probably more women have cats, isn't it?
That's mental. I had no idea. So they're literally just like shitting love or shitting like desire into your life, like making
Yeah, yeah, and
through
it gets in your brain and gives you like moldy brain or whatever, and
moldy cat brain, and then you
yeah, and
wake
it
up
makes you
with.
want more cats. Um, Big Nige, when I was single, was brilliant though. he's a right weapon.
Yeah,
He's like a
no,
wingman.
absolutely. I completely agree with that. I mean, my one of my friends here, one of my neighbours lives in my neighbourhood. He's got a little sausage dog, and I kind of hate him. I think I've spoken to you about him before because,
Mm.
like, he has this magnetic. You can hear the women. You can hear their ovaries just like breaking. You hear them before you see them. It's just like ah, and then they come around the corner. And I think I told
Sausage,
you,
yeah, they are
I
cute.
there's a woman in my local shop that I've lived here for 6 years in this neighbourhood. She's never given me anything more than a like just grunts at me and throws the change in my face. Like I don't know if it's just me or if it's everyone that lives around here, but she actively dislikes my presence. And then one time I went there with this little sausage dog because I had to look after him for the weekend. I tied him up outside and he was in the doorway going, being all feeble, all pathetic. And she just started talking. She was like, "Oh, is that your dog?" I said, "No, I'm looking after him for the weekend." She said, "Oh my God, he's absolutely gorgeous!" Like, came outside pulled all the staff out of the back room. They're supposed to be making bread. They all just like dropped their tools and went outside and started fussing this little dog. And I kind of
Mm.
hated him for that because I have never in my life had that kind of attention from human beings, and he just gets it for just looking like a sausage.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
not
of the
fair.
girls I dated when I was single and I had Nige, they all loved Big Nige. To the point, I think a lot of them, there weren't that fucking many. I think they were more into Big Nige than they were me. Um, uh, I'm calling him Big Nige. For those who don't know, I now have two dogs called Nigel. One of them is little, one of them is big. I'm making no comments on dog genitalia or anything like that. That's not why we call him Big Nige. Big Nige, come and meet Big Nige. We'll have a
That's
wild night. It
quite
wasn't like that. But
intimidating.
yeah, but girls love dogs as long as they're nice dogs, I suppose. And this meme is more about like when your dog becomes your partner, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I think that happens. Obviously, Sharon, she has two dogs. Now we have three together, but her two. So she's got Little Nige, and then she's got Buster. And when Sharon separated from her husband, Buster sort of took over the male role in the house to the point
Became the
that
man of the house.
yeah, kind of, he adopted that role. He had his side of Sharon's bed, which he still thinks he has, and I have to shift him every night, and he bites me. Um, and then, but the first time I ever went back to Sharon's, like Buster was there. I was like, and Little Nige. Little Nige is a weird little frog dog. He's horrible, but he's quite sweet and he'll like sit on your knee and stuff. But Buster's quite grumpy. And first time I went back, Sharon went into the kitchen to get something. Buster like stood in front of me, stared me directly in the eye, and then just pissed on the carpet really aggressively,
Wow.
whilst not breaking eye contact. And it honestly, it took a long while for me to win him over, because
That's exactly how we met. That's so
yeah,
weird.
maybe, yeah. But it was just weird, and he gets jealous, and I think this is
Yeah.
because
Well, they're
Sharon
pack animals, aren't they?
humanized him a lot.
Yeah, and they definitely no. You're absolutely right about the position as the man of the house because there is the alpha in the pack, and I suppose if he's the only male in the building, then as a pack animal, he's just going to assume that it's difficult when you're going into it's literally his territory. But
Yeah. It's
yeah,
just the way he didn't break eye contact. It was gross. It's so bad.
an
He,
aggressive piss.
yeah. After that, he's generally been all right with me. Like, but it did take a few months to sort of win him over with various meaty treats. And yeah, he's cool now. Apart from when I try and move him out of bed, and then he just bites me. But
I
he's
mean,
a good
the weird
boy.
thing is that everyone in that family is basically doing the same to you, and you don't realise you're being like house trained and domesticated, and they're
Yeah.
they're trying to win you over with meaty treats as well. So it's
Yeah.
like don't put yourself up above the dogs, mate, because we're in the same category.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I said about having Big Nige and my daughter Lily at the same time. It was a lot of work, back then. But I say, like, Big Nige is a wingman. You combine it as a single dad with a little cute little girl. Oh my God, that's a powerful tool. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
right, what's this
They're
one?
useful. Well, I put this one in there for you to laugh at me because I thought it would come up at some point. So if I make the first move, then I feel like I've taken control of the situation in some way. But I suppose what I wanted to say about this meme is the expectations that women often have on these dating apps. I mean, you've not been on them for quite some time because you're engaged, but
Hmm.
I'm sure when you were using them, you saw the kind of demands that people make. I don't know about the men. Maybe the men make these demands as well. I'm not looking for blokes, so I don't
Hmm.
know. But I noticed that there is a kind of expectation of height, and often people will mention you've got to make certain figures of salary, and you got to have a car or whatever. You got to have a 10-foot penis and like just all of these expectations that people make on their profiles, and that's before they've even made contact with you. So
I'm just imagining the 4 foot guy with the 10 foot penis. That would just be impractical. I don't know. You know what? When I got divorced and I started dating again, it was a strange time. So I hadn't dated for years, obviously, and it was a I I didn't really come across anything that blatant, you know. I came across uh, I've got to choose my words, haven't I? I encountered women who would go on a date and then just come up with a list of
ghost you.
no, just come up with a list of demands
Hmm.
whilst on the date. Dating, I'm always up for like paying for dinner or whatever, or offering at least, and then hoping that someone would go, oh no, let's go halves because that seems the right way to do things. But yeah, I dated this one girl and she was mental, and
Okay.
like I'd sobered up by this point, so I wasn't drinking. But she must have had like 10 double jacks on this date, which is like 50 quid, and I
Wow.
was buying them, and like then I took her for dinner, and she was just like a fucking mess by then, just falling face in curry and stuff. Then I had to get her a
Wow.
cab home. And this like
Yeah.
date must have cost me about 150 quid.
Yeah.
And it was like fucking hell. Like yeah,
But it's
she looked quite nice, and I wanted to
yeah.
touch bits of her, but it wasn't worth it.
Not worth it. It's well. That okay, right. Well, I mean, I'm sure we'll get into this a little bit later, but this is the danger of the dating scene through dating apps, in my opinion, because a lot of people use it for hookup culture, which is an entirely, I wouldn't say it's a new thing, but it's made a lot easier by these platforms,
Hmm.
and I think that people have, or certain people have less interest in forming a relationship. They just want a little bit of fun for the night or the week or a month or whatever. There's certainly like um, less incentive to make things work when you know that you've got people in your phone that you can just swipe through and just choose the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one. So, dating when we were kids, for example, teenagers, like you you date the girl that you like at school, and like maybe she's a total knobhead, but you got to stick at it, haven't you? Because like that's your girlfriend. Like,
Someone's agreed to go
and,
out with you.
yeah,
You're sort of
exactly.
grateful, and
Yeah,
well, it seemed like I don't know, was it a smaller pool of people to pick through? Now, yeah, you can set your radius to 30 miles or whatever, and there's 20,000 women, uh,
that's
and
nuts. I mean, I never
it's yeah.
thought. It's just the idea of being able to find out how many women are near you. Just that alone is just mental. That's just mad.
Where are they all?
There's like 20. They're surrounding you all the time. My life was better without that information. I don't need to know that shit. Yeah.
It is weird. Like when me and Sharon met, we met online, and not on Tinder, which I believe is the most popular dating app.
Yeah.
I'd done Tinder. I tried to complete it, and then I went on to a slightly classier one, I'd say. But again, because the man, the government, and all them, and the police
Yeah.
rightly said I wasn't allowed to drive, I had to set my radius to within bus routes
Ah.
like that I could get to, and uh, yeah, that sort of narrowed it down, thankfully, because I met Sharon, and
Yeah,
that
it's a
sort
good. That's a
of
good
ended up
filter.
nice.
Yeah, it's a,
Mm.
that's the whole. That, but that again, that's such a weird. And now we're talking about it like it's totally natural, and I suppose it is for these the modern generations, which includes us. We're here, we're alive, but
Hmm.
like the fact that you can filter the encounters that you have, like. How do we used to do? You used to just throw yourself into a room and hope that somebody in the same space as you would give you the time of day. Like it's just nuts to think that you can kind of organize things, you can orchestrate your social experiences nowadays. You're going to filter out people with the wrong height or coloured
Hmm.
hair, or
Hmm.
I don't want any women with penises, because there's a lot of those about as well. That's a filter that you can get
Hmm.
rid of those. But
I think,
also the fact that it costs you money before you even got on a date, which is exactly what this meme's about. This is from an article about the uh, the special VIP level of Tinder. $500 a month plan offers heightened exclusivity.
wow.
Mental. That's nuts. Like
Yeah, so Tinder, from what I remember, has like three, or this might be a fourth one, but it used to be like bronze, silver, gold, like membership, and that sort of determined how many people you could talk to in a day, um,
yeah.
how many responses you get, how much they promoted you, because again, it's just an algorithm, isn't it?
I remember.
Um,
Yeah. I
like
remember
YouTube or
the
whatever.
the first time I saw you using Tinder, when you were still a single man, and it was just a reminder that you used to play tennis, because the way that your wrist was flicking, just you literally and then suddenly you stopped, and I'd never used it before. I was like, "What is that? I've completed it." I was like, "What do you mean you can't complete Tinder?" So I've completed it for the day. I've got to wait another 12 hours until I can say yes to every single woman in the vicinity,
Yeah,
until
basically.
one
I
of them
mean,
says yes back.
well, I think a lot of people, probably myself included, for a time, sort of treat it as a numbers game. You
It
put in all
is.
your
It is.
filters. It's a bit like buying a house. Tinder, like if you
Mm.
go on Rightmove, they've got a very similar sort of filtration system. How many bedrooms, maximum price? Do you want a garden? Do you want a garage? It's like that. And then, like I don't know, your 50 results come through. They're all, but uh, God, this is so. I'm talking about it in such a way that it's making me feel a bit icky. Like,
You
but
got to be very careful.
all these possibly wonderful people show up, like 50 of them. But because you've filtered it so much, they're a certain age, they're a certain body type, I think you could put in. So it's all to your preferences. And I guess this works both ways. Women can do this as well, and do. And then there's 50 of them. So you just say yes to everyone because it's basically what you're looking
Exactly.
for. Don't read the profile. It's a numbers game. Just
But
say yes, 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 yes,
that's
yes, yes.
the difference between the male experience and the female experience in dating apps. And there are loads of studies on this. And this isn't a criticism. This is just how it is in nature. Because at the end of the day, the women do get to choose. And we've got other benefits as men. Like we can piss anywhere. And I've always appreciated that. I've always enjoyed that superpower. But it's very true that like one of my friends asked me recently. He's like, "Well, what's your type of woman?" I was like, "The one that says yes." I just like it's whatever. Like if she's interested, then I'll go for it. But yeah, I can't remember what the statistics are, but men just go through yes, 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 and like for guys, it's a very very small percentage. This is exactly why the platform Bumble came out, isn't it? Because Bumble And we don't really have that in Spain, but I think
That
it's
is
a
where me
UK
and
app.
Sharon met.
Yeah, but
That's where
that's
me and
how does
Sharon
it?
met.
Or tell me how that works, because I think it's the other way
So
round.
I think, like, from what I can remember, you as a male, you put in your profile and stuff, and then that's pretty much it. And then um, women go through and like read your profile because women read profiles. Us men tend not to. And if they like you, they say yes, I like him, and then that opens you up to like send a message, or as the man, you get a notification that someone's liked you. I think, for me, I found it a lot more sort of selective. I wasn't on it long. The first date
Hmm.
I went on through Bumble, I think, with Sharon. Yeah, it was, and that was it then. Um,
Oh wow.
but it seems, I think Sharon, I don't think she'd ever been on Tinder. She's too lovely for that. And like you say, Tinder's sort of become a bit of a hookup site. But sort of Bumble, I think it was designed by a lady, for ladies, and it puts the power in the woman's hand. So as the man, you can't just scroll through looking at profiles. It's not like, because it becomes like a catalogue. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like you're just going through going, oh yeah, I'll have some of that.
That one,
I'll have
that
some
one.
of
I'll
that.
have one of those.
Yeah,
One of those.
yeah. And uh, uh, how far away is that from just going to Thailand and ordering a mail order bride? It's
Well, it's slightly cheaper, I suppose. Uh, um, well,
Oh,
this.
newsflash! I think Sharon is either listening live or listening from the bottom of the stairs. But I said, "Oh, if you are listening, send me updates." She said, "I would never use Tinder." So, uh,
Thanks for listening. Now we know that we can't talk about the things that we were going to talk about. This next meme, I think, obviously there's a female representation there, but I think everybody's guilty of this. Of course you are, because it's a marketplace, so you're always going to put your best quality goods out on your stall. So you got in the modern world, you've got to get the best lighting, the best camera angles, so you don't look anything like your real self. And then, uh, I mean, you know this from taking photos, nude photos for Matt, the trainer. You got to suck your gut in a little bit and pull your shoulders back, and
no, then he sends them back and says, "Do it properly
yeah,
and take your
it's
pants off."
I watched
Um,
it. I watched a tutorial of how to make the perfect Tinder profile, and this guy was saying you have to have like 4 different styles of photographs. So one where you're holding an animal; it doesn't matter if it's yours or not. So like I was going to rent my mate's dog because obviously, like I said, he's very magnetic. And one where you're doing a sporting activity. This is for men, by the way. I don't know if it works for women. Maybe it does. One where you're what was the other one? It's something like professional, like you look like you're doing business. So in a smart
like your
shirt or
LinkedIn
yeah,
picture, yeah.
or at a wedding or something. And another one I can't remember what it is, naked in the bath or yeah, covered in jam. But yeah, there is a way to do it. But I think it is true that you have to present things in a certain way just to get through over the first hurdle, because like the first hurdle is whoa the first hurdle is having a conversation. I'm going to talk about that later because I've got a list of um, the best first responses in dating apps. So like when somebody actually connects with you and they say hi, and the worst thing that you can say back is hi, which is what you do in a real life situation. But the second that you
Mm.
say hello, it makes people completely uninterested. Things don't work the same way in dating world.
I think, well, you say that's the first hurdle. I think the first hurdle is someone finding your picture and profile in some way attractive,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
And I've been sat with a friend of ours, Birdman, Jem, when he's been going through dating sites, and he's like, no, no, no. I'm like, these girls are all beautiful. Why are you saying no to them? And I wouldn't say they wouldn't say yes to you anyway, Jem. But
Yeah, well,
but like,
he
but I suppose that's all subjective, isn't it? That's
I guess so, but like Jem's got a weird um, inflated self confidence, which would be attractive in somebody less mental. Um,
Jem's the best, man.
uh, he thinks he's the one on the left, but maybe he's more like the one on the right. Well, maybe not. I don't think men really assess each other in those sense. In terms of him being attractive or not, I really couldn't say. I have no idea. But he is a very interesting character. I think he's a little bit. He can be a bit intense sometimes. I've tried to tutor him in the dating world, but what the hell do I know? I'm a single man that lives alone, middle-aged, surrounded by plants. I haven't got a dog. I've gone for plants. It's easier. But yeah,
I've got
yes.
another update from Sharon. Her policy was no men with bikes wearing lycra, no one holding a fish, and no one who told me his salary in his profile.
Okay,
So
all right. So that
yeah,
video that I watched was rubbish then.
yeah, I think
Well,
so.
ask her what. So what did she? What were her? What was your dating profile like? What did you have on yours
On
that
mine,
caught her? Well, maybe she
I,
can tell us, and you tell us first, and let's see if it corresponds with what
yeah,
she
let's
says.
see. So I think I had a picture from our friend James's wedding,
Right.
where I'm wearing like a waistcoat and
Okay. Yeah,
flip
I know
flops.
that picture. Yeah, a nice. Yeah. Okay.
I
Well, that goes in with the profile. Yeah, smart, a professional image. All right. Yeah.
I think I had one that was taken for the Guardian article of me and Craig, and I just cut Craig out of it. So that was like a good photo, like done by a professional. But I wasn't like dressed up or anything. I just had I think I had my jean shorts on because I was living in them at the time,
Jean
and
shorts. Jesus.
yeah, not like Daisy
And you
Dukes, like
still got engaged. Unbelievable.
and I think I also had a picture of me. You, you know those on you probably don't know Snapchat, but the girls have it, and you can do this filter where it makes you old.
Oh
But I
my
did it, and I looked exactly the same. And I think I had
You look
that.
younger.
Um, I think that's all I had. I probably had one of a dog.
All right. Okay. Well,
Um,
there you go. There's one with an animal. But
yeah.
I think that just from what I know about you as a person, I don't think that you ever really shy away from presenting your personality and your eccentricities. So what you've done there is actually that's an outlier profile. You kind of lent into your personality, so it's there up front, and it's like
Well, I think that's it because I'd done my numbers bollocks with Tinder, and I wasn't. Yeah, I met some interesting people. I'll tell you some horror stories if you want. But like, I I I was sort of like, oh yeah, this is a bit icky and a bit like a catalogue. So then I thought, oh, I'll just be like dead honest, and yeah, I didn't try to present myself that different from who I am. I don't think, and that's how I met Sharon, and she certainly just is the most authentic person
just
I've
so
ever met.
you used your honesty as a weapon. So what did it say in your profile? Wrestling
Um,
freak, no tarts.
I honestly can't remember, but like on Bumble, you have to tell like two truths and a lie or something,
Oh, okay.
and it's like an icebreaker game, isn't it? And one of my truths was I think Nigel is a good name for a dog, and it turns out Sharon had a dog called Nigel, so I think she saw that before she probably even looked at my ugly
Mm.
mug, and thought, oh yeah, that's interesting. I'll give him a go maybe, um, and yeah, so I think that in my profile. I can't remember. I probably, like I've I own a guitar, you know. So I'd
Yeah,
have said,
yeah.
"Oh, I play guitar," and like I've painted a few pictures. I'm interested in arts. I've read a book once. Literature is important to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is. It's a bit like marketing yourself, isn't it? Um,
I'm going to take down this photo of you as a child now and put the next one on.
I missed that. Was that
Yeah.
literally a? I wasn't looking at the screen. What have you taken down? Uh,
We're on the next one. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about the
oh,
marketing
that's
thing.
so. Yeah, okay.
When
All
my
right, there, the
when my
ginger.
married friends keep insisting on setting me up with their single friends, please don't throw garbage at me. I mean, I get this a lot because I'm single, and I think that a lot of my married friends, um, it's almost like, especially my married friends that have been married for quite some time, um, the opportunity to set somebody up is kind of like dating by proxy. Like they get really excited about it because they get to experience the whole dating world again whilst still being married. And
Mm.
I've had just like some disastrous kind of suggestions. Like, and look, I know this.
Can we
You always,
talk about the widow?
yeah, I was gonna mention that. Like, I just one of my friends was trying to set me up with this widow, and I just couldn't. I, I couldn't get my head round it because look, I'm sure she's a wonderful woman, but like you couldn't you couldn't make this up. Like
No, but
he
what was your big fear?
no, it's just stupid. Like wait, like she literally just got married 6 months ago, and then her husband died suddenly. I think it was an accident or something, and she was like obviously like severely bereaved. Like it wasn't even a long time. It
That's
was
the
very
best time,
no,
Ben.
it's
That's the
not,
time
no,
for you to
but
get in.
but my point is, like that guy, he didn't die of old age. Like he went out at the best possible moment he could have. Like they've literally just been married. Like she obviously adores that guy. She loves him. She's married him. They're about to spend the rest of their lives together, and then he dies, and then she goes dating and meets me, and it's like I can't. There's no way I can live up to the legend that man has become.
I'm dying.
It's just out of order. I can't believe that they didn't think about those things. They're just like, oh yeah, I've got this really desperate friend. Like, like she's nice when she's not crying. But maybe you could take her out on a date. It's like, oh no, I've got enough trauma in my life as it is, without inviting more in. It's not that I don't feel sorry for her. It's terrible the situation that she's in, but I don't think I'm going to make it better. So, yeah,
Well, it is true though. This like you know, Ben, you're my best man at my wedding, aren't you? And I've done you dirty by
yeah,
having our daughters as bridesmaids. So,
yep,
you know,
yep,
that's the tradition, isn't it? Hook up with a bridesmaid, but we chop your dick off.
exactly.
And they're like underage, which would be awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd make a good wedding story.
Just yeah,
But but I have got some single friends, and it does cross my mind. Oh, wouldn't it be nice to introduce Ben to so and so? And
but you're
it's
just
not.
you're forcing me to say things that make me sound like a shit in the dating community because you said things to me before about and I was like, yeah, what's she like? Oh, she's got 5 kids. I'm like, no, thank you, no. It's like I just don't understand.
That's not in your filter, is it? That's
No,
you know, like
there's two massive things there. Number one, she lives in an entirely different country, and number two, she's got 5 kids already. Like
yeah,
I
but a
don't.
different country thing might be an advantage. You know that might work
I
out
don't
for you.
want to say anything too rude, but you, whenever you go dating, you know you're not the first person to open the wrapper. But if somebody's got 5 kids already, I'm just saying, I think that there are newer cars available, um, and
Wow.
that's just a preference. I don't think what's wrong with that.
No,
I think
no.
most women would say the same thing. They don't want a bloke who's you know just his arse is
Got
falling
five
out.
kids by five women. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
it's
not.
just
Maybe
come
not.
on. It's a bit of a sign, but
But no, I
anyway,
think the point of it, like, you know, because I know a few of your married friends as well. You know, I've met them, and I think when you're in a partnership, like a romantic one, I think part of it is you want your friends to experience like the good stuff, uh, and probably the bad stuff. So I
Yeah,
want you to
yeah.
know like the
How terrible it
pain
is. Yeah,
of being in a relationship.
you want to share your
But
suffering.
but no, you want your friends to have the good bits of it, and because when you when you get into like a relationship, sometimes it means you do sacrifice a bit of time with your friends. It's not so much for me and you. I've seen you once in 6 years, I think, but but it's like yeah, you don't have as much time to spend with your friends, so maybe you feel a little bit guilty, uh, and so you want them to have
Just to
someone
try and
that
ruin their lives as well, so
yeah
so it's
yeah.
equally. Oh, I appreciate that. Thanks so much. Well, here's the next one. So this is again, this is kind of based on what I've just said. Um, some of these memes are made by people in third world countries, and they don't have the best grasp of English. So that should say them. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just that I am actually an English teacher. There's plenty of fish in the sea. My fish, and then there's just these skeletal dead fish. Um, Unfortunately, dating my stage of life means that the
What do you mean your stage of life? You're
towards the
like a
end.
dead fish.
No,
What
that's
the
not me.
fuck?
Those are the women that are available.
Well,
Well, maybe that is
what
me
would
actually. That
represent
is,
you
yeah.
then?
No.
Yeah, what
Also,
are you?
I'm the one on the left.
A fancy
That's
squid?
slightly
What?
apart from them all. No, yeah, no, we're all in the same boat. The people at my stage of life, we've all been through stuff. We're all a bit haggard. We're all a bit rough around the edges, and it's kind of a weird scene to go dating in. I think people have a lower tolerance for bullshit for sure. But then
Mm.
there are others who don't. They're just like they enjoy the bullshit. They love the bullshit. Love a bit of drama. That's one of the filters that you have to go through. But it's not an actual filter on Tinder. You can't. There's no bullshit filter. You have to do that in person. Um, find out if somebody's a haggard, dried out, desiccated fish or not.
Yeah, but I think that adds to it, man. There's a lovely little book. I don't know if Shan's still listening, but there's a lovely little book, and it's about these two bears, and they what is it like? They start off with these perfect little hearts, and then uh, they meet when they're like baby bears, and they have these perfect little hearts, and then they go off their separate ways, and throughout life, like their hearts get like a bit jagged and a bit dented and a bit like scratched up and a bit fucked up, and then the male bear goes back, finds the other bear that they'd met when they were babies, like later in life, and he's like, "Oh, no one's gonna want me. Look, my heart's all fucked up and damaged and stuff." I'm not talking about heart disease. I'm talking about the other kind of heart love stuff, and but actually, like the girl's heart was like that as well, and so you put them together, it makes a perfect heart because it all fits together, or something like that. So it's a bit puffy, but
Yeah.
it's a lovely little story that sort of illustrates that when you go through life and you go through stuff, everyone else goes through stuff too. If you met like a woman in your age bracket, and let's assume that is 30 to 40, uh, but is completely undamaged, what the fuck have you got to talk about?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what
no,
are you
no,
going to do?
I completely
You know?
agree with that. I'm not interested. I'm not one of those guys at all. I do have a friend who is like that, and I think that's because he's married, and he almost wasn't married, and he's just a bit of an idiot. He was thinking that he was going to just be able to end his marriage and go back into the dating scene and pick up where he left off 20 years ago. So he was looking. He was like, "Oh, you're going to get myself one of these young birds." And it's like, dude, why? Why would you even want that? Like, you're in your 40s. What are you going to talk to a 20-something-year-old about? I mean, I know it's not the talking that he's interested in, but at the end of the day, if you're talking about a relationship, it's like she wants to go to McDonald's, and he's like, oh, why do we have to get another Happy Meal? Can't we go and do something fun like play golf? Like you're just not
But
gelling. There's no connection there whatsoever, and you get
yeah,
bored
but
of
I
the.
don't think it's an age thing either. It's like an experience and a life experience thing. And you know, if you were to meet someone the exact same age as you, but their heart wasn't a little bit roughed up around the edges, it means they've experienced nothing, and
Hmm.
you've experienced lots of things, and so that would be a bit boring. It'd be like going out with Big Nige, just someone
Yeah.
who's happy all the fucking time. Which I
Oh
know
God.
you hate because you dated a girl that was well happy, and
Yeah.
you found that really annoying.
It is bloody annoying when people are. What you got to be so bloody happy about all the just forgot. Like life is suffering. What's wrong with you? Like I just don't understand people. I think they're lying to themselves and lying to everyone else. Pack it in. Constant
Mm.
24-hour happiness. Bullshit. Anyway, here's the next one. And I think this is actually more like your dating profile. This is basically your approach that you took on Bumble, and it worked. So, any to our listener, Ginger Brown, if you are single, this is a good way to approach your dating profile. Reasons to date me: number one, no one will try and steal me from you, and number two, sometimes I'm funny. Um,
Yeah.
so that
So
worked.
that
Bit of humour.
the old self-deprecating humor. That's
Hmm.
yeah, that's one of mine, I guess. I do that a little bit. Um, oh, she's gonna hate me for telling this story.
Tell it. Go on.
Okay. So um, yeah. So when I met Sharon, I was quite heavily uh into like my recovery from addiction and stuff,
Hmm.
and I was doing all these meetings, you know, and one of the things that was drilled into me was like, you just got to be honest, you just got to be honest. And I remember getting a lift back with this old timer from a AA meeting, and he goes, "You know what they're saying about honesty?" I'm like, yeah, yeah. His name is Jim. Yeah, Jim. Yeah, sounds good that honesty, don't it? He goes, yeah, yeah, it is. I mean, it's good for your recovery and that, and it's good for like living a honest life and all that, isn't it? And I'm like, yeah, yeah. And he goes, yeah, what else it's good for? I go, no, Jim. He goes, it's like knicker grease. Like, sorry, Jim. He goes, yeah, women, they love a bit of fucking honesty. They love it when you're honest. Get
Yeah,
the knickers down like that if you're honest. I'm like, all right, okay.
that's exactly
I'm
what
not
it's
sure
for.
that's
Yeah.
what the reading meant, Jim, but
Wow.
I'll take that on board. And actually, one of the first conversations I had I had with Sharon was I mentioned that article in the Guardian. Um,
Hmm.
oh, we'll have to put the link in somewhere. But at the time, I was living with a mate of ours who was also in recovery at the time, also doing really well. Says he's going to listen, so
Hmm.
keep it up,
Good.
Craigie.
Yeah. Well
Um,
done.
but like one of the first things, and actually throughout the Tinder thing as well, because I didn't want to have to explain. Oh, I'll meet you at a bar, but I'm not going to have a drink. I didn't want to explain why, so I just sent them a copy of this article that had been in the Guardian, the national
you.
newspaper,
Oh, nice. Yeah. Send them
about
some
me and Craig.
homework. If you're gonna
No,
date
just
me,
go.
you got to do homework.
No, I just said read this if you still want to talk to me. Like that'd be nice. But like, there's a bit in there in that article because to it was called like odd couples or like under one roof or something, and like the week before they had a nun who lived with a punk rocker, and we ended up just two alcoholics living together in recovery.
I
And
can't
but
believe. Sorry.
there's a bit in the interview where I say, yeah, everyone thinks we're gay. I mean, we're not. Well, not really. Like, we love each other, but I won't touch his winky or something like that. It's like, it's like
They kept it in.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that. And I just
Yeah.
sent that to Sharon.
I can't
Like,
believe they didn't make that into a sitcom. That's such a perfect scenario for a sitcom.
it was good fun, that man.
But
It was good fun.
it's just it's like based on what you were saying earlier. I think like honesty as knicker grease. I think there's a sad truth in that, and the sad truth is that again, based on what you were saying earlier, like people who've experienced life tend to have had a lot of negativity, things that they've had to respond to and react to and adapt, and the truth is that when you meet somebody who's honest, it's refreshing and it comes as a bit of a surprise. It's quite a rare gem.
Oh
Um,
yeah, and it's definitely
and it's very
it works the other
attractive.
way too. Like Sharon is the most upfront, like honest. Makes me look like a massive liar. Like yeah. She really appreciates honesty, not as knicker grease,
Hmm.
like just as a way of being in a partnership.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's what
and
most people look for, though, isn't it? That's the thing. Is why
yeah,
most relationships that have failed in the past, in anyone's experience, is something related to a lack of honesty somewhere. Um,
mm,
but yeah, um, I can't wait for that sitcom to come out. I see it as a kind of like a weird, uh, non-religious version of Father Ted, like two drunks, two um, recovering alcoholics living in an apartment together
yeah.
and just going through various adventures. I think it'd be brilliant.
Was desperately trying not to upset each other
Yeah,
and
and
cause the
desperately trying to
relapse.
prove to the world that they're not gay, whilst actually being very gay. Um, yeah, yeah. We'll write the script and we'll get it sent to a few
Why not? Eh?
stations.
Why not?
Uh, Next one. But I swiped right on every girl and still no matches. There you go. That's the numbers game. I'm going to whiz past that because we've already spoken about it. You won't even
Hmm.
see it. Oh yeah, this one's quite funny.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Um, I hate online dating. I wish guys just approached me. Hi. Oh.
Yeah, it is so different, man. Like I say, before I became single, I've been in a relationship. Uh, I've been in another long relation. I've never really like since school been on the dating scene, but like it is difficult now. I think like I've got some facts about dating, and some of these are
Ooh.
sort of relevant. Um, 18% of couples met their present or most recent partner at work. Now that's fine. Apart from nowadays, like a lot of
Yeah.
people don't go to the
Work from
office.
home. I
Yeah.
work at home. I'm self-employed, so my Christmas dinner is rubbish, and
Mm.
I don't. Yeah, I just don't. I never see anybody. So
Yeah.
that's gone out the window.
Since COVID, people don't go out and socialize as much. Uh, so, like, if you go to a bar, like, yeah, like there's no one else there. So, like, that's weird. Jem took that photo, didn't he, of his own pints in an
Yeah,
empty pub
yeah.
a while ago. And like every now and again, I'll be out in town, like my old hometown, Loughborough. Go out there on a Friday night. No one's out. When I
It's
was
too
a kid,
expensive.
we were all out when I was a kid, and you go up to a girl or a boy if you were that way inclined, and offered to buy them a drink. It would be a blue wicked back in
Mm.
my day, a WKD, uh, and then try and chat to them and not bore the shit out of them. But now because everything's online, yeah, no one meets in person. I don't think.
No.
That was one of my rules when I was doing online dating. If I got a match, I'd say within the first couple of messages, right, fuck this, should we go for a coffee? Because like you could just spend months just sending messages. Um, and yeah, I didn't see the point of that because
Mm.
once you meet someone in real life, you're either going to like them or not. I
I mean, that's the
suppose.
best filter, isn't it? That's like there's all these other filters to not waste your
Yeah,
time.
I didn't really talk about the filtered photo one, but I when I was on Tinder, man, like filtered photos, everyone at the time had like bunny ears and like a
Ah,
rabbit face. I thought, what the
yeah,
fuck? And I went out with a couple of them, and I know why they put a rabbit's face on,
yeah.
because their actual face looked like a rabbit's arse.
Oh my god.
It's
Yeah, you're gonna get in
misleading.
trouble. But yeah, no,
Mm,
absolutely. I think that it's more difficult nowadays to approach a person in real life. I know this meme's a joke, but I don't know. Can you? I don't remember the last time I approached a person in public that I've never spoken to before and said, "Hello, can I? Would you like? Oh, she's gone. Like how do you even do that?
There she goes. She's run across the plaza now.
Just run into traffic.
I think people are a lot more suspicious of people, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. So it almost feels a little bit. I think a lot of men are a little bit apprehensive about approaching a woman that they've never spoken to before. It's kind of, it almost like seems like an aggressive act. Like you got to be careful about that stuff. But yeah, if you're young, I mean, I'm talking from the perspective of an elderly man. So all the younglings are probably still banging away, getting.
Yeah. Well, do you want to talk about how it works as a teenager?
Yeah, yeah. When I was a teenager, you just insult the girl that you like, or like
pull a ponytail.
Yeah, pull her hair or push her over, just physically abuse her, and for some reason that worked. I'm glad those rules don't.
Well, nowadays it's a very complex process, Ben. I live with two teenage girls, 13 and 17. Millie, our eldest, she has a boyfriend now called Jacob, not his real name. I call him Jacob as a joke, but so much that I can't remember his actual name. Or maybe it is Jacob. I don't know now. It's something like that. He's got his feet under the table. He's here all the time now.
Unbelievable. Start charging him rent.
But it's complicated. But he's a nice boy, and Millie is a very lovely young lady and very sensible. So that's very nice. And Evie, our middle one, she's 13, and she's just dipping her toe into the dating world. I think she may have been on a date with every member of a football team now. She'll punch me in the face for telling you that. But I asked her earlier to explain how teenage dating worked, and I surreptitiously recorded it. No, I told her that I was going to record it for you to play now, Ben.
You got consent. All right. Well, I'll roll that, and I'll switch our audio off and tell you when you can start breathing again, because sometimes I forget to mute your mic, and it's just you going.
I shall do it myself now. Yeah. So when you start dating someone, what do you start with? Talking?
Usually mates first. Yeah, and then you have a little bit of a flirty friendship, and then you start texting each other, start talking, and then you
But texting is talking. If you're texting someone a lot, that counts as what
you're chatting to someone, you're talking to someone, yeah.
Okay, but that's like a status, isn't it?
Kind of, yeah. Everyone knows that. You can't, once you're chatting to someone, hands off for everyone else.
Okay.
And then you go places, you go out somewhere, you go for
And
food.
you call that being out?
No.
Oh.
No. That's still talking. That's still just chatting. Okay. And then you go out into somewhere.
Right, you're physically going.
Physically going somewhere, and then ask each other out.
Right.
Which is
after you've already been out.
Yeah, it's do you want to be my girlfriend? Do you want to be my boyfriend?
Okay.
Whatever. And then you do that, and then you just, yeah.
And then you're seeing each other? Or no, then you're out, and everyone knows that you are out.
Yeah, because there's kind of a bit in the middle between, chatting and being, together, dating, where you, go places, but you're not officially,
And when you're dating, can you date other people as well?
You can, but then... no.
No, then you're a scat.
Then you're a scat, yeah.
Okay. And then, once you've agreed to be boyfriend and girlfriend, you are then boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yeah.
And that's it then.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Well, maybe not forever.
Yeah, well, that's a bit far.
Okay, it's complicated. Thank you. Perfect.
There we go. Some quality advice there from the youth of today.
It's a complicated process now, dating and all the different words they use and things and different statuses they have. It confuses me. When we were kids, it was, yeah, we're just going out with you ask someone out and you go out with me, and then that's like your girlfriend, isn't it? But now there's all these different levels of it, and that's before you get into open relationships and stuff that the kids are into nowadays.
What's that? I don't even.
Yeah, like polyamory or whatever.
Oh
it's
God!
called.
Why would you? Why that's so you take something that's already really complicated and multiply the complication by whatever number you choose. That's insane. This is a good one here. Look, this is a little Instagram post from a lady called Claire. A guy wrote to me on Tinder calling me quite the catch because I like nachos and it's always sunny. So I wrote back saying, well, if you're impressed by that, you should see my tits. And he unmatched me. I literally have no idea what men want. I'd just like to say to Claire, if you're still single, I love all of the things that you've said there. And that man doesn't represent men. Sometimes they get confused.
It's a great comeback. I think it does sort of show like humor doesn't always translate, does it? Yeah, like on a text or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, what was he thinking? That's
I mean, that's a great line.
I can't understand why he did that. Like, what is there to not like in there? The nachos. It's always sunny. I don't actually know what that is, although she spelled
Always
it.
Sunny in Philadelphia.
Maybe. Yeah, she's missed the L out though. I'd make a comment about that, and she'd unmatch me. But that is she's mentioned her boobs. That's before. That's like the first contact. That's just quality. But no. And moving on to the next one. There's just a couple of Instagram posts here about gets ghosted. Me. Thank you for the 15-day free trial. And I think that's a strange thing that people do nowadays, getting ghosted. So somebody just pretends that they never met you. I have had that happen before in real life, but not
in real life.
Just people just in the same room as me, pretending that they don't know me or they haven't seen me.
Literally, you go up and go, "Hi," and they go, "Hello."
My ex has done that a couple of times when I've been out in Zaragoza. She's just like literally just looked directly into my eyes, into my soul, and then walked straight past without saying a word, pretending that I wasn't there. Wow. I thought maybe I was dead. I thought maybe I died. So am I haunting her? What's going on?
Maybe she was dead. Maybe she's a ghost. Only you saw her.
Well, I almost said I wish, but no, I don't mean that. And then the final one here before we go and go through a few icebreakers. John says, date. What do you do? Me holds up menu. You just choose a meal from this book of food. I think that's a very amusing way to start a date that could go in one of two directions. Either she's just going to never speak to you again, or she's going to laugh. Either way, you're already at the restaurant and you're already ordering, so you're going to get a meal out of it.
I don't know, man. That's brave. That's why I went for coffees. I went for dinner with a girl once. This was just before we went on holiday for that stag do in Alicante for James, and I think I told you about this. I'm going to miss out some bits of the story because I was probably a bit unkind about her. No, I won't. I won't miss anything out. Right. So she had headshots as her profile, and she had quite a beautiful slim face, and
right,
and it doesn't bother me. I appreciate women of all sizes, but her face didn't match her body anyway when I met her. But we'd agreed to go out for dinner, and she gets out of the car, and I'm like, "Oh, wasn't expecting that. I didn't say that. That was in my brain. My
It was
brain
on you.
said that.
It was on your face as well. Come on,
My brain said that to me. But I, absolutely fine. Let's go for dinner. And turns out she was a mega bitch. She was horrible. She was being racist about like this waiter in a Turkish restaurant or somewhere where we were. I don't think it was Turkish. It was Lebanese or something. They had a kebab, and she was racist. She was like being mean about other people in the restaurant, and I was stuck there then. Like, like this was before the starter had even come out. She was being just a horrible human being, and then I was stuck there because I couldn't like just go, "Oh, I'm leaving," or maybe I
You
should
could
have.
have done.
After a while, though, after dinner, she was like, "Oh, should we go somewhere else?" I said, "Oh, you know that place I told you to park? It's only 2 hours free parking, and you get like a 50 quid fine if you don't leave the car park."
Hmm.
And I thought, "Oh, that'll make her go back to the car." That was a lie. Like it was free parking all night. Um, but then she goes, "Oh yeah, well come on then we'll go and move the car." And then I just went, "Nah, I'm gonna go now."
That's,
But
that's,
if you go for a meal, yeah, I think that's a second date thing. Do
yeah,
coffee
it's just
first.
mad. Like, because you, I was going to mention this earlier. Like when you've not really when somebody unveils their real character, like
Mm,
even it can even happen on a second date or a third date. Like you don't really you have a lot of fun, blah blah blah, and then something like the racism or something like that. They make a comment that that doesn't sit with you, and you kind of fast forward like 20 years of relationship because when you're i married or when you've been with that person a long time, you can't just get up and leave. You're stuck with it now. But if you're sitting there for a meal and you've ordered your food, and everybody likes food, but if you're waiting for your meal to arrive and you're suddenly responsible for this awful person that you don't really know, I mean that's
mm.
got to be one of the worst dates that you can be on. Like, especially if she's just insulting. I mean, I don't know if anyone heard what she was saying, but like that's the
She
worst.
wasn't quiet about it either.
Oh my
I don't
god.
think I'd marry a racist. I don't think I could do it.
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it goes against some of my core beliefs.
Yeah.
Uh, Even if she wasn't as fat as the
That's not a
house.
filter on Tinder. You can't filter those
No
out.
racist.
You just get to meet them,
Oh,
unfortunately.
on Tinder, fucking hell. Sorry, I've got to tell you this horror story. So, this girl I was chatting to, didn't actually go and meet her, but have a lovely chat. She was like a bit like hippie looking. She had like half her head shaved, which I thought, oh, I'm not sure.
Which half? The back
For,
half.
no, just the middle, down the middle.
Down the middle.
But I thought, oh, interesting, arty. She had some lovely tattoos, from what I could tell, and I was going through. Uh, so we met on Tinder, but then like added each other on Facebook and stuff. And I was going through the Facebook. She was a Polish girl, she was, and I saw all these pictures from a day out at Pride, which is always good fun. I love going Pride,
Yeah.
and I went, oh, did you have a good time at Pride? And she goes, yep. We told those fucking homos what we thought of them. And she was like a homophobic protester at Pride. I thought she
Wow.
was having a lovely time with all the lovely gay people, but she was like holding placards up telling them they were going to hell. I thought, fuck me. How wrong did I get that? Jesus. That was
I suppose in
embarrassing.
a way, actually, maybe it's kind of the opposite because sometimes in a long term relationship, one of the problems is that one of the side of the couple or both doesn't reveal their true nature until 15 years in, and then you're like, oh fucking hell, like what do we do now? I might as well stick with it. But at least she was up front. At least you got out of there early on. It's not
Yeah,
like
what happened to that
like
ex-boyfriend of yours?
you
Oh,
can have.
he's in a freezer.
Well, you imagine like getting to the wedding and you walk down the aisle, you sign the documents and everything, and then your gay cousin turns up and she's like, "What the fuck is that doing here?" It's like, whoa, hang on a minute, I didn't know that about you. At least you don't have to go through that, so that's a good thing. I think we'll wrap up with some icebreakers, which is exactly the opposite way that you're supposed to do things. But I've got this terrible list from an online magazine called Elite Daily, and there's not really much that is elite about.
Classy.
Yeah. Because these are supposed to be somebody's made this list. These are so when you get a match and somebody sends you a message and they say hey, and it's usually the woman that says hey, and then as a man it's your duty to you have to combine humour and also something intriguing like mystery and various other aspects into this impossible phrase. Like the first thing that you say has to be perfect, and if it's not, then you're done. That's it. You don't get a second chance. And Elite Daily has comprised this list of those sentences that you can use. Tell me how you think these go down. Rate these out of 10. Right, so the first one. This is you responding to a girl that says, hey, you're cute. How about we meet up? And you say, pop quiz. What are your thoughts on pineapple pizza? No pressure, but this could seal our fate. What a shit line. I mean, that guy's a dick. I think there's something wrong with my phone because I can't find your number in it.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay. This one's all right. Insert GIF of the Titanic splitting in half, and then you say at the caption, "An icebreaker. There, I did the thing."
Yeah. I would not sleep with
I'm actually feeling a little bit uncomfortable reading these out. I'm only going to do two more.
Is this magazine saying these are the good ones?
Yeah, these are the ones they advise you to use.
Wow. Okay. What's next?
I'm just trying to pick. I'm literally trying to pick one that isn't going to make me vomit. Oh, okay. Well, this one could go two ways, right? If you were a vegetable, you'd be a cucumber. I mean, that's so bad.
No.
But it's so bad. It might. I don't know. Is it so bad? It's good. I don't know.
No, I think it's just bad. I don't think I've ever used a pickup line. The best one I've ever heard. Oh no, but what's that one I shouted at Task at that girl about vomiting? But yeah, we won't go into that. But no, the best one I ever heard was from Craig.
Oh really?
He was making out with some girl, and she goes, "Oh, I'm just going to let you know I don't sleep with people on the first date." And he goes, "That's all right. I'm shit in bed anyway." and then slept with her. That's honesty, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's honesty.
Yeah. She had the worst night of her life.
Yeah.
Here's a night that you'll forget. Yeah.
I'll be the hypnol. Oh no, that's not funny. Sorry.
They got married as well, didn't they?
I think it was Jess. Yeah.
Unbelievable. I'm not reading any more of those out. I've just been looking at them, and they are really, really terrible.
Yeah, don't take advice from that magazine.
But it's got elite.
Sharon sent you some advice via text. Would you like to hear Sharon's advice?
Yeah, go on.
Yes,
please.
Directly to you.
Advise me. I need it. I need help.
Oh, just opened the wrong message, and it was you voiding your bowels. That is not the advice. Going back to the honesty thing, she says Fat Man Jim is gross. But she says the honesty thing is a top tip for Ben. If he's dating women in their 30s and 40s, then they've heard all the bullshit before and it's boring. She also says, I've turned you off now as the girls were listening and it's grossing Ben out. So, yeah. So, honesty is the best policy in dating.
Yeah, honesty, but it's also disgusting as well. So, you know, yeah. Well, I mean, you have, we've both had a checkered past. I think moving forwards, for me, this is what I said to Jim. I say ditch the dating apps. I told him to join a yoga class or Pilates or something. Pilates is good because you don't really need to date anyone. You can just go there and have a look. But There is a lot of I joined a yoga class, and there is a lot of farting that goes on, and that shatters an illusion about women that I think
I've
we all
never
hold.
heard Sharon fart.
Exactly. That's what we think. And that's a good illusion to maintain. And I think most women do a very good job of maintaining it throughout their entire lives. But if you go to yoga, that's gone. That's done. That's done for, because they're all at it. And it's not good. It's not good. So maybe not yoga, but join some kind of social group. Maybe what's the best place to meet a woman? The library? No, that's not a good place. You're not allowed to talk loudly. Trekking, dogging. No, dog walking.
I honestly don't know, man. Like, I think for me, if I hadn't been on the app, I wouldn't have met anyone. Because I think that's just how the majority of people do it. I think it depends on what app you go on, and how you react and what you're actually going on there to look for. I think there's genuine people on there, both men and women, and I think there's like you say, I think there's people that just go on there for a hookup, and that's fine, as long as it's all consensual and that. One quick little thing, a discussion me and Sharon had on our first date about dating apps was about dick pics, and she as a woman, she'd received a few dick pics. It never goes the other way, does it? No girls volunteer a picture of their genitalia and just send it without you asking. But we were discussing how dick pics. If it was back in the old days when we were dating and you'd meet a girl in a pub or whatever, it's like walking up. No, it's like walking up to a bar and just flopping your winky out on the bar and going, "Here you go. What do you think?" It's like you wouldn't have done that, would you? I don't think so.
Do you remember Chris from uni? He did do that once. He was always getting his dick out there. He put his dick in someone's pocket and pissed in it once. I remember that when we were out.
I wonder
what he's doing these days.
Yeah.
He's probably in prison. If he's not in prison, he needs to be.
He's definitely on Tinder.
He's on a list. He's on a list for sure.
Whether he's single or not, I reckon he's probably on Tinder.
Awful human being. Yeah. Well, on that note.
Yeah, there's someone out there for everyone. You just got to find them.
Yeah.
By whatever means necessary.
Yeah, there's no right way. There's no wrong. Well, there are loads of wrong ways. Don't do the wrong ways because you get yourself in trouble. But yeah, just have hope. I'm just talking to myself now. Have hope. It's going to be okay, Ben. Everything's going to be fine. You'll find somebody. Yeah, and if not, I'll just buy some more houseplants. Yeah. It's a win-win. Right.
Can't fuck a houseplant.
Well, you obviously have got the wrong houseplants.
Right. On that note, definitely.
Okay.
Great, love you, bye.
Speak to you soon. Love you. Bye.
Medically